Claire Billens. Thank you. Sorry we're running a wee bit behind schedule, but I hope you found the other submissions interesting.
Yes, I did.
Good.
Actually, yes. So, thank you for having me, everybody. Yes, so I've been working at the Bromley Community Centre for over 10 years now, so I know the area very, very well. You may know it's quite a low socio-economic area, and you won't probably find many ordinary people from Bromley coming in here and making submissions. So I consider myself a voice on their behalf. I have consulted with quite a few of our groups. We have all sorts, Playgroup, all sorts of groups come in every week, and a lot of them are either they're just struggling with their own issues and not able to think big, or they haven't got the skills and so on to make a submission. So I've facilitated sort of joint submissions, and I have given out forms for them to do their own, but I know that hardly anyone will have. So yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm here just to, haven't got any fancy things, I'm just here to remind you of the people, the vulnerable people of Christchurch, because I feel that a place is always about people first and not buildings. I have been a school teacher for many years, and I know when I'm looking at a school, I'm not looking at how many computers they've got, I'm looking at the staff and if they get on and if there's a nice sense of well-being. That's what I look for in a place. And so sometimes a fancy building, all the facilities in the world don't make up for that. And I also want to come from the perspective, just different perspective, is like, I know you've got a big issue of the funding shortfall, 1.2 billion, I believe it is, and you have to address that. And I understand that, and I've had a look through all the stuff and everything. But I just want to sort of make a bit of an analogy with a family. So say your family was a disaster and you've got into debt somehow. What are those things you're going to preserve? What are those things that are going to go? What's important to you? And of course your children and people. You're going to keep things a bit tighter, aren't you? And maybe not go out, to dinner or whatever. So I'm just kind of thinking from that analogy, and I'm thinking when I see some of the big projects, they're all very nice, but some of the big projects, I think, well, do we need them? And I know you want to get tourist money in and so on, but for me, the ordinary people that live here in Christchurch come first. And we've got, child poverty, we've got people without a roof over their head, I've got people every night trying to sleep in our car park and cars and things, and a lot of them are going to the beach to sleep, I know. They still live at New Brighton. It's always been a problem now. I've said to the people, where are you going tonight? Oh, I'm going to the beach. Don't worry, I won't be here at night, because I said this is not safe at night. No, I'll go to the beach. So I'm seeing, we see, these people, and I'm very, very concerned. And then there's people I know of who are worried sick because they've got nowhere to go. Their house is their rental property is going to have to be fixed up through earthquake damage. They don't know where they're going to go. Don't know what they're going to afford, be able to afford. So huge worries for people, and for me, the people come first, because that's what the city should be about. And I'm very proud of the Christchurch City Council for their past sort of community development, money they've put into community development and now into strengthening communities. I think it's wonderful. And we appreciate the funding that we get from the council to run a lot of our programs. But just the concern is that it's slowly perhaps being eroded, even perhaps before the earthquakes. From about 2009-10, it's slowly starting to be eroded, the community development sort of funding. And for me, now is more important than ever. We're seeing so many people in need coming through the doors, hungry, so on and so on. And some people don't realise there are people in the city who don't have $2. $2 is a lot of money for a lot of people. Just to remind you of those people, and they haven't got a car, or they haven't got a car that goes, and so on. And so it's no good having a fancy facility over here. Oh, they can go to that, but they can't get to it, and they won't go because it's too expensive, transport and so on. It's too hard when you've got children For example, QE2 was supposed to be the pool for the Linwood area. That was too hard. If you've got 5 kids and you've got to get to QE2 and you've got no transport, it's not very, to get on a bus and everything, but it's too hard, right? So it's taken me probably about 8 years to gain the trust of the people in the community, so they'll come into where we are. So I'm all for little local grassroots, little community kind of centres, not one big flash one down, in the city or whatever. So I'm all for keeping these nice little communities where we're supporting a lot of people, mentally ill people, people with disabilities. We're supporting them, and if we go, well, they'll be in the system, they'll be adding to the pressures of the system. And we are supporting them to make their own decisions, learn some new skills and so on. And a lot of them are getting into some paid work now, so we often have volunteers and then they move through, which is wonderful. So I just, and specifically for Bromley, we're concerned about cuts to funding for community development and strengthening communities. Concerned about the pool we've been talking about this pool for many years, the Linwood Pool, Woolston Linwood Pool. So we've got a lot of young families with children in the area, and I think they deserve a pool. And they're not perhaps going to be as I said, they're not going to come out and make these submissions and things. But there's pools over the north side and everything, and I feel like that we've been missed. The Bromley community, the Linwood Bromley area has been missed. And I know it's in the long-term plan, but I feel I would like to see it come forward. I think it's urgent because it's a cheap place where people can go, $3 or something for their kids. And I know that council has made available some of the little local pools for $1 a swim, and that's been so popular. And everyone's been talking about it, $1 a swim, because that's about all they can afford. Yeah. So the pool would be a huge priority, and we would like it moved forward. The little local parks and that, when you haven't got a lot of money, those are the places you go and take your kids, little parks and things, and they're really well used in our area because we've got a little playground near the centre and it's really well used and it's free. So the Wooden Park pool, for example, apparently as it's nearing its the end of its life and maybe is going to go after that. That's a lovely little park. I don't know where Wooden Park is in Wooden Road, but it's a lovely little park with an aviary and just lovely trees. It's a very special place, and I would like to see that pool stay. We sometimes would have our playgroup go down there it's a free trip, The kids have a lovely time, so I would like to see that saved. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, but
is there a paddling pool there?
Yes. I'm talking about just a little paddling pool.
You haven't got a paddling pool in Bromley, have you?
No. There's not a lot in Bromley. Yeah, the Bromley Community Centre is the only kind of social service sort of place of its type. I know it used to be a mile electorate before they changed the boundaries. Yeah, in Bromley. Yeah, there's not a lot when you actually look at the area of Bromley. There it's not a lot. There's probably you probably talk about maybe 1,800. Well, we deliver our bulletins to about 1,800 households.
But there's a lot of children in that.
There are a lot of children, a lot of young children, and there's a lot of young parents who have no support, no money, and they've got no family either, and that's hard. That's really hard when you're young and you've got little kids. So the playgroup is very, very popular. Our playgroup, so we're supporting them. Yeah. So just a voice for them. The other thing is the housing is very concerning to me too. I believe people have a right to affordable shelter, and I think it's very sad that people in Christchurch have not got a warm, a shelter and a warm place to live, because I believe it's probably World Health Organisation, it's a basic requirement, and I think that we need to. I'm not saying it's all the council's thing, but I think the council need to do what they can, and we need emergency housing, and we need it like now. And I've been going to a lot of housing forums. The Tenants Protection Association have been holding and things because I have an interest in it, and to me there's not enough being done. There's some things being done, but not enough right now for the winter for these people, because once they get out of they're in a garage and there's kids in the garage, then it's very hard. Kids maybe don't go to school, they don't get to school, and then you've got this, it just goes on and
a cycle.
You've got a cycle where they're not going to go to school and they're out of this mainstream society, and that can happen quite quickly when they've got no housing. Yeah, so I think that's a huge concern for me, because I think that is basic. Yeah, so just, that's where I'm coming from. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Right, well, we really haven't got time for questions because it's, but Andrew, I'll let you ask one. There are other people waiting as you have too. But
Thank you, and I'll keep it brief. You opened your presentation by suggesting that, you know, Bromley's a low socioeconomic area and you wouldn't expect that we've heard too many people making submissions from Bromley.
Yes.
So thank you for, you know, bringing the messages and concerns from that community to us today. What do you think we could do to make the process more user-friendly to a wider range of people so that people were more able to engage with it?
Yes, because you mentioned the word meeting and people like, well, you know, even the word meeting. Yeah, so, you know, just getting out and going along and actually meeting them on their own turf probably. Yes, and, you know, just, I don't know, like the mall and everything. If you go to Eastgate Mall, you'll find it's quite different from other malls. Quite different. You just go and visit Eastgate Mall and walk around the area for a while and you'll see it. Yeah, yeah.
Answer as well, Andrew, because I've been thinking about this a lot and thinking we should have a year-round process. It should be a continuous process of engagement. So when they have the awesome Bromley Carnival or fair, they get, you know, hundreds of people going, and yet we don't take that opportunity. So rather than us doing everything.
What do you mean? I've sung at their karaoke.
I mean, you know, just in terms of our long-term plan, annual plan, because we only have a fixed
I'm
time,
sure they'd love
so,
to do that at a festival.
Yeah,
No, but I agree that we need a better way of doing this engagement so that we went out and did a lot of engagement in malls, including Eastgate, during the
Yes.
period of the lead up to the
Yes.
long-term plan. But it's not an ideal process because it just, well, it really does need to be improved. So,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
thank you very much for
All right.
representing the interests
Thank you, everybody.
of Bromley.